Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're doing a little welding for my job today. What we got here is we got a 12 foot, that's a little over 12 foot opening. The gate itself is going to be 12 foot. That'll allow for the hinges and the latch. Since this is the downhill side, I think I'm going to hinge it down here and latch it up there. That way it'll normally try to stay open. This is going to have wire stretched all the way down. Once I get all the, paint, then wire. And once the wire is all stretched tight, then I can move the T-posts up or down wherever they got to go throughout this whole area. I think it's 1,500 foot or so. But first thing we need to do, we need to cut the uprights for the gate. They're going to be 4 foot, and they'll have a 45 on one end and a straight cut on the other. And this will have a 12 foot, a 12 foot, and 2 more 12 foots in the middle with a 1/4x2 flat bar to kind of strap it all together. So let's cut the 2 4-footers and then we'll 45 them, and I'll show you what I do to hold them up while I weld the gate together. Normally I'd already have the hinges so that I can put this together, but we're going to guess at it. What we're going to do, the ultimate goal is to have, now granted it won't be that close, but have this where it's even with that. So I'll have a long pipe, about 12 foot, 45 down both ends. It'll just lay onto this. And then theoretically when the gate's hung, it'll all be even. Now, with that being said, that is a little higher than this one, so it's kind of stair step, but we're not going to stair step the gate. We're just going to run the gate level where it's even with this one and even with that one. Right now we're going to tack a piece of steel up just to hold this up. because obviously the latch I have is going to go through a hole in the gate, weld to it, and then it's going to have an oblong hole here that kind of raise and lower, and spring loaded. We want it kind of close. Give us a good enough space on it. And then we'll weld the other one on this side. Same thing. A lot easier, the bottom one and the middle one, because the bottom one's just going to have a saddle on either end of it. And a whole lot easier to ride This one's not bad. I can live with that. We're going to tack this one up. Well, the other thing you got to look is at the bottom. Gap up here and the gap down there are different. You always want to just hold it, because if you put too much of a tack, it'll literally start rolling, it'll pull it. a gap underneath. Ain't nothing else stick weld on. Then I'll take a hammer and just knock that down in there, squish that hole, close that up so I can weld it. And we're not going to get too carried away welding this one out. I got a little bit bigger hole up there, but this is thin enough stuff that the hammer will smash it pretty good. So we need to measure the bottom one, and it actually needs to be cut just a hair short. Go up here and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. Put y'all on this side. Out there, and I made my own homemade saddle. It seems like it works better on this thin wall stuff than the factory. Gonna do here now is get that down where the bottom of this is about even with the bottom of that and tack it on. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Loosen up. Got to be real careful with this stuff. It isn't like this Schedule 40 where you can put a good heavy beam and you can really stand on it. This stuff's pretty thin, but it's designed to look like the fence but be a lot lighter since it's a gate. The other thing you got to watch for is you can't do a whole bunch of weld on one side and none up here, because what will happen is it'll actually pull and then your gate will have a heck of a twist in it. So and then the next step is measuring this out and get 2 even spacings. Well, you'll have 3 even spacings. We have 2 more bars going across, and they'll be built just like the bottom one. Slide them up, weld that, slide that one up, weld that, and then we'll put a piece of flat bar right in the dead center from top to bottom to tie them all together so they're not flopping. They won't. I mean, they'll move a little bit, but not much. But nothing will be welded out until the hinges are on and I cut everything loose and let it relax, because that's when you come back and do your adjusting. Like this here, since that is such a slope, we're probably going to cheat that one down a little and cheat that one up where the gate looks, you know, pretty level. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Going off of the ground, this is actually the same as that one. You got to follow the land or you got to stair step them. I mean, that's the only 2 choices you got. So anyways, we're probably going to call that a day. I'm going to call it a day for today, just simply because I am wore out. I don't know if I ate some bad tacos yesterday or what. We had supper at the in-laws and he made tacos, and I felt like crap when I got home. Felt like I had a brick laying in the bottom of my stomach, and it didn't go away till this morning. That's after taking I don't know how many antacids and Pepto, and finally I woke up and I felt a little better. But as the day's been going on, I'm feeling worse and worse, and I don't know what the hell I ate to make me feel like this, but I don't want to eat it again. Let's shut this stuff down. Once that welder idles down, I'll go ahead and shut it off. So yeah, what I did today is I put all the crossbars in, these H braces and the line posts all the way around and capped them. There's an H here, obviously there's an H there. The only reason this one's here because they wanted a gate. So there's an H on each end. Then there's a line post, another H dead center from corner to corner. What I did is I measured from corner to corner. That was where my center brace went, and it's a double. Well, it's an H. And then I took that and cut it in half, and there's a single line post with a cap. And then the same thing down there. Halfway between the corner and that H is a single line post and a cap. And then I did the same thing on all four sides. Now this side will be a little short, just simply because we got this other gate and a H brace there. Yeah. And then, like I said, the T-posts, let's shut this welder off. You can see the T-posts, they're all here, there, and everywhere. But the bottoms are right in line with the wire I stretched. Well, I say that they're actually inset a little bit more because they got to still line up with the post, and the wire's not on the mark now anyways, it's already took loose. So all this to enclose all these sprinklers for the aerobic septic system. So because they got horses out here, they got cows, they got mini donkeys, and they don't want none of that, you know, stomping all over them things and breaking them. They've had these out for a while, but then they actually added another row of heads. So I'm kind of putting the fence back up where the old one used to be, but I've extended it out further into the pasture, another 30 foot. And then once all this is done, where those dirt piles are, I'm going to jump on the inside of the fence where the actual tanks and pumps and stuff are, and I got a fence around that and put a double gate, but it'll be it'll be 2 4-foot gates locking together to make one 8-foot hole. And yeah, I pre-drill all my, since I'm by myself, it's hard to, especially with a 6.5-foot T-post, to hold it up and drive it in. So that's where I made this. It goes on my skid steer auger, and it's got carbide tips, and I can punch a hole and knock them in, and then I can either come back with a skid steer bucket and smash them the rest of the way, or I've got a gas powered driver, but I hate using that thing because it probably only weighs like 50 pounds, but it's a heck of a chore to pick it up and set it on top of every post and drive them in. But those won't even get driven in until the wire is up and stretched super tight, because it's a 4-foot wire, and ideally I like for this to be at the top of the wire, then I can put a strand or two of barbed wire on top of it. But you can't just go by the paint, because like this one, you see you got 1 2 3 gap, and then this one there's no gap, 1 2 3. So this one's a lot shorter than that one over there. That one's probably even longer because it's got 4 notches. So all you can do is get them where the actual height is the same with the wire, where it's 2 inches, 4 inches, whatever, 3 inches above, however you're going to do it. And you can see the top of that gate where it goes up. That's what we'll have to correct after we get these all in. But once we get the 2 bars in, we'll leave the flat bar off till the very last, and that way it'll allow that gate to, it will be able to put a jack under it once we get the hinges on, and we can move it out of square a little to where it matches up where it needs to be. So with that being said, guys, we're going to call it a day. I'm going to roll everything up. It's 3:05, but I've got a funeral to go to tomorrow in Oklahoma for a family member. It's about a 3-hour drive there. We got to get the kids situated with a babysitter and what all that's going to entail. So for now, we're going to call it a day, and thank you for watching. Go check out my channel. I've got a few more welding videos, not many. I'm going to start doing a few more, but I'm still going to do the will it run stuff as soon as I get some parts in, and I can go out there and put them on and make some stuff run. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Later. all these little pieces of pipe here is what I cut off of just this stuff. When you go around to saddle them and get the height of them. Sometimes you can get them pretty close. I mean, ideally, if you didn't have any waste, it would be great, but that's not ever going to happen. Not unless you cheated them up or down, already had the saddle cut, and then concreted them in, but you'd have to find a way to hold them. It'd be a huge pain in the butt. I need to get my other back bumper put on this truck too. Perfect, got it. Be a spring-loaded pin that pops through to hold this from turning like this side head, but that pin is plastic, and one day I just snapped it, let it shoot in, and the whole end shot off of it. So that was the end of that. And I do keep water on the job at all times, not just for drinking, but my sprayer. And especially this time of year, I want to make sure kind of wet down whatever area you was welding, just to keep from a fire starting. Unload this pipe. Grab the hood and glove. I do need to stop up at Brandon's shop. I think it's his grandmother that owns this property that I'm building this fence on. I need to stop up there. He had a question about getting some kind of fabricating and welding done. He had some questions about. I think he's going to actually do it, but he wanted to know what I thought. These are 24-foot sticks, so that full stick will make those two and then some. And I'll probably be bringing that one home. That one is an extra post. Actually, it's an extra crossbar. It's too short for a post. It's like 6 foot, and I think I did these on 5s. The T-posts. Oh, dang it. I'm going to run that over. The T-posts will stay here because I'll need them when I do the fence on the other side of this one. Move the saw. And if y'all ain't got, if you do metal fabricating and you don't have one of these Evolution saws, you really need to get one. This thing cuts so clean. Now the blades are a little pricey. I've got them as cheap as $60, and I've got them as high as like $90 each. But they last a while unless you jam it into the material too fast, and it'll instantly knock a carbide off. You got to ease it in there at full throttle, and once you're cutting, you're good. Then I go home and I'll throw all this stuff in the scrap trailer, and whenever my scrap trailer gets full, then I haul that off, make another. And usually I make $200-300 depending on how much I have. The most I've ever made off a load was like $4.99 or $4.98, but it was heavy. I want to say I had 12,000 pounds on it or something like that, 11 or 12. So I'll put you guys in the truck. How much time we got left on this card? Oh, we only got 5 minutes. Okay. Be rough. Alright. And we're off. What a day. And I don't remember if y'all watched the last video, which is really crazy because that little welding video I had was really climbing. It was getting, I mean, I could almost get a few more views every time I hit the refresh button. But the minute I posted the video, the last one, saying, hey, do y'all want to see more? It just like, it came to a stop. It got to 860 views, and when I posted that video, it stayed at 860 till the next day, and I think it got to 861. And then last I looked today, I think this morning is at 862. It's like, what in the world? And I was like, well, maybe I should have never posted that last little video asking for advice. But, oh well, it is what it is. But back to what I was originally going to say, I had mentioned doing a few more little welding projects, and one of them was building a T-post puller for the skid steer that I wouldn't have to get off. I can just drive up, stab it, and pull them out. And I've got some T-posts back there. They're old ones that I actually pulled out of this job that I used to, God, that stinks, that I used to stretch my wire against. They're like 4 foot tall, and I drove a couple of feet in the ground or so. So I ain't got... Alright, that card ran out. But I've only got 40 minutes on the battery, and then it'll run. So we'll ride up here and meet with Brandon, see what he's got. And then we'll head home. Call it a day. I'm not far from where I live. Maybe 10 minutes. So it's pretty easy getting here in the mornings and then getting back home in the evenings too. I have to get out and shut this gate. I don't know why they left it open. It was open when I got here, so I left it open. Now they're weaning calves, but it ain't got nothing to do with the gate. Be right back. Folks, I wish I could do the stuff I used to do, which I still do a lot of it at 53. Alright, I'm going to shut y'all off. I'll turn it back on when I get back in the truck. Alright, let's head home. Actually, I need to stop at the store. He just told me to get some Mother's apple cider vinegar for my stomach. He said that will fix my gut, I hope. Then I need to make an appointment to go see the doctor about my testosterone level. I hear a lot of people getting that done and they say it's great. I don't think I want to do the pellets, but there's a local doctor. He does the shots. They'll do the blood work. I think the blood work's like $400. And then they'll do the shots if you need them. And it'll be B12 and the testosterone. So, I don't know. I gotta do something. I just got to where I just feel wore out all the time here lately. I don't know what's going on. I may just be wore out. Kind of the perfect time of the year. Don't need the heater and don't need the air conditioning. Well, I did need the heater this morning because it was pretty dang chilly. Oh, I hate trying to get out of here. It's so damn hard to get out of.